This video I'll show you how to make an assembly of the shaft support assembly. So we're going to start a new, we'll go File, make an assembly. And we'll start by inserting components. Remember, start with the main components. So in this case it's going to be our base plate. So we want to insert that base plate. And then we'll go on to that. So the next piece I'll add would be the bearing support. So the bearing. So insert that. Now, for the next piece, pay attention to how it's oriented, so you don't have to struggle with moving it around on the sheet. Now, this is fine. I could get it even closer by spinning it, but that's good either way. And we'll go ahead and put mates. So we'll go up to mate. I'll start with the bottom of the bearing and the top of the plate, and it's okay. So now we have that just constrained to the plate itself. Now whenever you have round holes, round features, it's really easy to use center lines. So that's what I'll do here is I'm just going to use these bolt holes. So let's start, and I can use any of these holes. If you click on that bore, it'll find the center of that. And likewise here, if I click on that bore, it'll find the center and it'll constrain that. I'm going to say OK and close that, and let's see what we have right now. So you can see what we have right now is that bearing is constrained in quite a few ways, but still free to rotate that way. So the easiest way to fix that, of course, would be to constrain that bore with that bore, which again is going to end up being the center lines. So if we go mate, now make sure you clear, make sure it doesn't have anything in there because I was clicking around. So it'll choose again one of those bores, and that bore, it'll spin it around, say OK. And now that's fully constrained. You won't be able to move it. Let's go ahead and add the screws. And again, orient them as close as you can to the final orientation. And sometimes to play with this a little bit to get it. There we go. So that's good. Now if you want to put more than one item, just push the push pin in there. So that'll be one. And now I've got my second one, same thing. You want to get your orientation. There we go. That's good. And say OK. Again, easiest way to do this is just by center lines, but don't try to click on the threaded part. Just use this bore here, use that OD there, or use that OD there. That works really well. So if I mate that to that, and remember what it's going to do is find the centers of those. Say OK. Let's see what we have right now. So you can see the screw is still free to move around. It's just attached to the center line. So the easiest way to constrain that the rest of the way is to use the bottom of that shoulder right there, and then the top of that counterboard surface. Say OK. And you should be able to still spin the screw, but that's OK. And let's do the same with the other screw. And let's see, you can see sometimes it'll do that where it'll hide the part inside of there. And then we'll get that bottom of the head and the top of that counter bore. And lastly, we'll add the collar. Now that's upside down, so I would try to spin it. There we go, that looks better. And we'll mate that. Again, I'm going to use the OD of there, And you can use either inside diameter or outside diameter. Say OK. Now sometimes you'll see this happen where it gives those weird marks. That just means it's interfering with that piece. The software doesn't care about the physics of that. So we got one more constraint to add. Click on the bottom of there. Top of there. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so the parts are all mated. Let's go ahead and save that. Now the names can get kind of long, so usually I like to abbreviate, and we want to get in the habit of using part numbers for all of our drawings. So part number and then some sort of a brief name is good. So that'll save all the components as well. So now let me show you how to make an exploded view. So you just go up here where it says exploded view, and this new menu will load. It's taking a second, it'll get there. Alright, so what we're going to do is create steps here where it pulls this apart. Think about if you were going to assemble it. What would be the first part? Obviously the base, and then the bearing, and then you could do the screws, and then the collar. Basically the way that I assembled it here. So let's do that in reverse. So let's think about taking it apart. And you want to do it in a very organized manner, not haphazardly. Think this is a pretty simple part, but think about an object that has many components to it. The exploded view will show you how the parts fit together. So let's just click up here, exploded steps. Click on the first object, and then you'll see these arrows up here, and we're going to grab onto this Y. So just use your left mouse button, click on that, hold it down, and pull it up. And leave enough room because I'm going to pull the other parts, but don't take it too far away because remember you want to fix it, put this onto a drawing sheet as well. So then I'll say done for that step. That's step one. Let's click on the screws next, and you can click on more than one item, and then you see both of those are blue. Click on the Y direction again. Let's pull this up a reasonable amount. Say done with that step, and then we'll click on the bearing, pull that up a little ways, and we can say done with that. And we'll finish that out. So there's our exploded view. Now what you can do is, if you come over here to your part tree, if you right click on that top line, see where it says collapse. If you click on that, it'll go back to the full assembly. Come up here again, right click and explode. So you've got both views in both the full assembly and explode assembly are going to be on the same file, in the same file, assembly file. So let's go ahead and save that. You don't have to rename it, and then we'll put that on a drawing sheet next.